improving communication between the maintenance and flight operations team. So if you worked in a flight department without the right communication tools and processes, I know it can kind of feel like each department is, pointing fingers at the other because the maintenance team's trying to keep up with the inspections on the aircraft, and scheduling's trying to get the aircraft out to meet demand. And then you've got pilots raising squawks. So what advice do you have for other operators that are looking to get their maintenance and flight operations teams on the same page and just operating smoothly when it comes to communication?
It really, at the grassroots level, it comes down to the culture of your flight department and, how well the flight department clicks as a team. You really have to respect each other. You have to know the pressures of each department and know that we're all trying to get the same mission accomplished at the end of the day. So I think that was going to be my 2 cents is the culture of the entire department, and keeping those channels of communication open and that conversation flowing freely. If there's ever a hitch, that hitch needs to be addressed quickly. Otherwise, it can tumble out of control pretty quick.
Yeah, I think culture is one of the biggest things. We had we would be with the crew. We would do we had a sequence of events that was developed by our chief pilot, and it was fantastic. And it was we had a set time where we would meet about an hour before they would, an hour and 10 minutes before the flight. We would go through the maintenance program, talk about the airframe, talk about what has been done to it, look at the next 90 days, make sure they're aware of the aircraft, and it created that line of communication with each other. And then we'd also sit there and ask them, what do you guys need to complete your mission today? Because at the end of the day, we're all together trying to move either your principal from this destination to the next destination safely and efficiently, and we're all in that together. So I think it's always nice when a crew member hears you saying, "What can I do for you to help you make your day easier?" And then you find that in return that definitely comes back. But so having a scheduled brief before and after the trip, and then as I was saying before, constant communication with your scheduling department helps. I think it's something that we all have. Everybody's pulled in multiple directions today, so try to make a dedicated schedule to talk to them, especially, like I said before, especially during AOG events. Make sure you're on with them right away. Have an AOG template email in your Outlook or whatever system that you use, so it's the same template, same form going out during AOGs. They know where the plane is located. They know what's happening. They know when the next update is coming. And one thing, I have a little thing that's kind of a little bit unorthodox, so I'll throw it out there. To create a more cohesive flight department, and this is hard to accomplish, so I'm gonna throw it out there. If you can train together, I think that helps a lot. I think if you can go to training together, especially if you're bringing on a new aircraft and you're going through maintenance initials and the pilot's going through pilot initials, if you can all go together and kind of go and if you could travel together, I found that flying with the crews helped a lot, helped change my perspective of what they go through, and that really helped a lot. That really helped a lot as well. So
yeah, with that kind of interaction, as far as what we do, it's relatively impossible for our group to go and train together. Unfortunately, I mean, that would be great. And high op tempo, high cadence, kind of operation. So we have two separate pillars that we're supporting. We have a corporate and a cargo flight department and maintenance department, basically. So as DOM, I'm a go-between, both of those sides of the house, but as well as, our normal interaction. So we have operations dispatch that writes and revisits the schedule daily. So we have every day our flight schedule is updated. We fly the same routes every day, but weather happens, people are out, aircraft are broke, swaps have to happen, that kind of stuff. So we can go 5-10 revs of a flight schedule in a single day. We have our line techs do a pass down by email, blasted out to the group. Our maintenance team does a pass down and turnover every shift at the end of the shift, and sends out that email to the entire group. We have on-call text and on-call dispatch phone number where anybody can call in and talk to them and figure out what's going on, where the aircraft's at, what the issue is. And that's a funneled point of contact that everybody goes in through dispatch and then back out from dispatch. So we have that single point of information control. So, our pilots call into the dispatch, and then dispatch will connect them with the mechanic, stay on the line, and have an idea of what's going on, so they can report that out in the regular ops report, which we also have at the end of every shift. So anything that is off schedule, off kilter, late, different than normal, it all gets reported out. And this is, every 8 to 12 hours, depending on which side of the house you're talking about, flight ops or maintenance. Maintenance running on an 8-hour shift versus flight ops running on 12. So there's overlap, there's, communication at every level, and, it's cadence. We don't, it's never missed. Somebody's always sending that email out. You can, pretty much set your watch by it. So, that constant communication, that constant update is really what keeps us going as far as that interaction between all three of our departments.
And I'm going to add that something that when Bruce was speaking, he kind of made note something. A single point of contact, I think, helps. When you have too many people trying to send information, it gets very cloudy, very, very chaotic. Having one single source of information helps a lot. And it helps with, I'm reading the comment section, someone put in there about scheduling, about the expectations versus reality. I think that's something we all face that one.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I love that you mentioned, one of the kind of intangible ways that you can improve the communication is just teamwork and potentially training together. And we have had a lot of questions about training. Like one of the polls that we put up just recently, which area of maintenance department do you believe has the most potential for improvement? The response was maintenance and technician training and development kind of won that question. And so I'd love to hear a little bit about how were you doing that cross-functional training? Can you give some examples of how you've seen that done before?
Cross-functional training you're asking about?
Yeah. So any instance where you trained together, maybe across across the maintenance and operations department.
So it's something. To me, I never had an opportunity to deploy this theory of mine, but one of the things that I would find interesting is develop. I would call it Tech Tuesday because I like tacos and I do Taco Tuesday. So Tech Tuesday, but it would be just if you could find a time. It depends on your schedule. I know it's very hard to get everybody together in the flight department, but if you could put together, and you could do it through Teams, but pick a system of your aircraft, of your airframe, and talk about it together, crews and maintenance, and talk about what their experiences are with the system, and be surprised how much you can learn from the people from the flight crews who operate, and they know what their expectations are of that system, and then vice versa, the crews can learn a lot from the technicians about how heavily involved it is, how hard it is to get to. You think it's so easy, but for me to get to that cart, I have to pull all these seats out, or heaven forbid, pull the galley out. So I think when you get them talking to each other, and they both have a better understanding, and including that sometimes is, hey, if we run into an issue, let's say the APU, the first thing that we would do is first part of our day is total plan out, and then you hit the APU button. Well, after you start the battery, but right. What are you going to do if it doesn't start up? And it's to sit there and go through that process with as a team together. Hey, flight crews, what are your thoughts? Maintenance, the technical crews, what are your thoughts? And to have them come together and just discuss that. And I think it really, because none of us here are experts on this. We all have, we learned it in the initial, and if you have if you have any issues with that system, you tend to forget about it a little bit. So it's nice to kind of refresh it and do a little bit of a mini recurrent class with each other in house if you can. It's hard to coordinate it, but it's something that gets everybody on the same page and gets everyone talking together. And then usually I'm assuming, since we're all in aviation, eventually the topic will veer off to something else, and then we'll all leave the room hopefully laughing and smiling.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to share that our safety manager set up a every few month quarter, once every other quarter, that we have one day a week where the operation hasn't quite started yet, where we gather for half a day. And that's everybody, all pilots, all mechanics, all management, admin, staff, dispatch, everybody. And we get together in the hangar. We have IT come and set up a screen. We run through some different subjects. We talk and discuss. Usually as the DOM, I'm somewhere on the side of FOD, maintenance fatigue, human factors, subject matter, just to kind of get the conversation going and getting people talking about, the different interactions that we have and how we can, fix some of the things that we see as broken on a daily interaction.
Love it. Yeah, I think safety is a very logical intersection between all the different departments to bring everyone together like that. I've seen, emergency response planning and tabletop drills and things like that be used in that way.